Taking it live, man. RespectMyRegion.com. Back on another episode of the RMR Podcast. Today, everyone, this is episode 109, and I've got a very special set of guests. These are two individuals with a special family that have special ties to cannabis, and more importantly, special ties to cannabis law. These are the famous and the infamous Pot Brothers at Law, Craig Wasserman and Marc Wasserman. Good morning, fellas. How are you guys?
Good morning, brother. Good to be here, man. Good to hear you.
Morning.
Good to hear you, and good to see you.
Come on, man. When I'm with you guys, I get chills, bro. I never forget being in Seattle about 3 or 4 days after Christmas. Mark calling me, "Hey, man, is this Joey from Respect My Region, bro? This is Mark and Craig from the Pot Brothers. Did you see what's happening?"
Roger Stone.
Come on, baby.
Your page.
One of the best things that ever came from that particular set of years, man, for America was us coming together.
Was Roger Stone reposting your post?
Fuck, dude. Reposting your post.
Well,
reposting your page.
I find it. Come on, man.
You know,
you reposted it. Then
that's right.
Reposted it, and that one video, well over 400 million views across all social media.
You know, shout out to some of the most famous people in the world, man. I remember that conversation. We were like, "Yo, Post Malone reposted that."
Wow, I didn't know that.
Motherfucking baby oiled up Diddy reposted that shit.
He did, yes.
Did he really?
He posted that. Yep. Yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah.
We shouldn't talk about that. I don't want to get a phone call from we're gonna get on the list
those
now.
Those of you that have an issue with Mr. Puff Daddy, Sean Combs himself, we had nothing to do with that post happening. This was organic virality. All right.
Years ago.
Huge. Oh my gosh. Now, fellas, we've got a very special episode today. I really appreciate you guys. I've been doing this for 2 years. You have been on this episode with me before, so just thank you for spending your time and sharing that with me. It really means a lot. As you guys know, it took a lot just to get to that point for that viral video to happen. We were years and years and years into doing what we do, and you guys were as well. And by the grace of God, the internet, science, fucking Roger Stone being a dumbass, all these different things brought us together. And now you guys have been able to have such powerful impact on so many people over the last few years. And so, as I said at the beginning, it is an honor to have you guys. Now, before we go any further, Craig, Mark, today's episode is brought to y'all by Seedless Media. Everybody watching, visit seedless.media in your URL. This is the premier cannabis retail marketing agency, a full service agency that specializes in SEO, cannabis text messaging, email, programmatic ads, loyalty, and my personal favorite, just revenue growth. They literally grow revenue for brands and retailers. So thank you guys again. Now, today, everybody, we're going to do a conversation all about how to engage with law enforcement, because one thing that's always going to be here in America is some form of law enforcement, right? There's always going to be some form of system in place to help keep the public safe. And it's
protect and serve.
Yeah, protect and serve is the model, right? And you guys have really dedicated yourself to helping empower people through education. Your guys' Instagram account just hit 1 million. You guys built it by not showing cannabis on every video anymore. Shout out to Instagram ruining the on-brand nature of us.
That was really hard to do.
Oh, I know for you too, big bro. That was hard. You just sit in the back smoking most of the time.
Oh, we can't say fuck either.
It was really, really hard to do, but we chose getting the knowledge out to more people than my narcissistic need to smoke.
It's not all about you once you feel the power and how good it feels of helping other people. And I know
it did bring other people forward and smoke. Other lawyers smoked with us on social media when they never would have in the past. So I mean that kind of has gotten lost in the translation, but I'm glad you brought that up.
It's huge though, because it's like, a lot of people, marketers, influencers, personalities, you guys are people first, lawyers, right? Mm-hmm. And then the cannabis stuff happened. And so for me, it's like, to your core, it's probably hard to, not just be who you guys naturally are, which is energetic, helpful, funny. Mark, you got your acting, these are things that have been a very important and integral part of your guys' life to some degree, right? And to see that all come out and shine has been huge. Let's talk about some things that are specific to this conversation. Engaging with law enforcement. I've been pulled over in college. Been pulled over recently. I've been pulled over all over the country, and I look how I look, and so and you guys look how we look, right? Our experience goes a certain way historically. It's not the same for everybody, and so it's important to understand for all different types of people how to properly engage with law enforcement. And we were talking a little bit offline, fellas, about police have a protocol. They've got systems in place, right, that they're supposed to follow. And so I want to first start off this conversation, fellas, about, what does engaging with law enforcement look like, right? Where are those settings, those places where people tend to engage with law enforcement a little bit more often, right? We've got
the number one is the car. Is the pullover. Number two could be walking on the street, and that's somewhat different set of rules when you're walking on the street.
Wow.
But the car is probably number one. And before we get into any other details, we like to make clear we're not anti-law enforcement.
Correct.
We're anti-bad law enforcement, corrupt law enforcement. And until law enforcement changes its philosophy and training, we have to engage the way we're going to talk, because instead of protect and serve, it's pull over and see what we can get.
Mm-hmm.
How can we get this guy? Instead of going, hey, your tail light's out, someone doesn't see that, they can run into you. It could be an accident. So here, go get your tail light fixed. Instead of, oh, tail light out. Yeah, let me walk up and look and see what I can see.
Right.
And a good example also is
that's how they're trained. So we don't hate on them for being trained like that.
They're hiding behind a tree or somewhere to catch you rather than being out in the open. That's the deterrent. You see a cop, you slow down, but they're hiding because they want to catch you instead of policing for safety and showing. It was Mr. Checkpoint who first went out there. Hey, there's a cop 100 yards ahead. Slow down. That should be the point. But like my brother said, it's not. They're out there.
Be that as it may, they have their protocol, like you said.
Now, just to play devil's advocate, that's a trap that they've set up to be able to do their version of what, it's a spectrum of policing. It's a spectrum of protecting and serving. They feel like if they catch people on the act by setting these traps, that trap, maybe it's a hot spot and it somehow impacts public safety at a higher level or something, correct?
No.
Well, no, it brings in revenue for tickets and money.
Oh, so I'm over here not playing devil's advocate. I'm playing angel's advocate, hoping that they're actually doing the right thing.
Right. No, we don't believe that's the case. It has no really higher anything. They don't care.
Yeah, I don't really hear anything about that. I definitely only hear about, I would assume that they want to, it's that quote. And I don't know if this is real or not, but they have to hit a quota or something is what I've heard my whole life.
I don't know if there's quota, but I bring up live PD because I watch it every week and it's live. I mean, it's pretty crazy watching what they do. And I think if every officer had live cameras on them, be a whole different story out there, because I haven't seen a lot of cops messing up on live PD, but you see a lot of stuff where people do wrong. And you see the police. And what I was going to say is one of the main guys who used to host it. He was one of the hosts, Sticks Larson, literally said, and we have it on one of our videos back when it's their job to come up and see if they can catch you doing anything. That's what a pullover is for in their head.
Well, he said, we're looking for a reason to pull you over, and we're looking for a way to get in your car. Quote.
And I know you guys don't handle, you guys handle California. You guys are barred in California, correct?
Correct.
So I know you guys don't handle these other states, but I remember a couple of years ago, you guys telling me that you guys have this network of lawyers and stuff, right? And so you're a resource at this point. You're able to be a solution for people that do call you or reach out and can plug them in. I was driving from Michigan through Indiana on a toll road and over to Chicago, because we flew into Chicago and then drove over. It was cheaper for some reason. I was looking up the laws. They can pull you over for anything in Indiana. Anything, just to check. Just to check and look and find something.
And you can probably have open carry too.
It's the most astounding thing to me that I'm a medical patient. I'm legal in all these states.
Don't matter.
I had to throw away over $500 worth of product because I was, honestly, bro, I was so scared. I was afraid. And my coworker bought stuff I had to say, bro, I will pay for that for you.
Yeah.
I was
Worth
so,
it. You're right. You did the right thing.
and like the reality though is you're one poor timing away, depending on what you look like, speeding, going down a hill, where you're at, the officer feeling whatever. There's just so many variables that can go on that your life can change so fast, from the guns and the shooting and the deaths that we've seen.
Yep.
To the unjust jailing, putting people in prison for and the fines and the time of these sentences. It's just disgusting. It's just absolutely fucking disgusting. And so, how are people supposed to engage with law enforcement? Let's talk about California, because that's what you guys are, your expertise is in. So, in a car, walk me through, and we'll talk about the script and the script, actual scripting later at the very end of this. We're going to run through it together. But walk me through, I get pulled over. I'm here at my house. I get pulled over right before I get here. I smoked a joint with you guys down at Cannabis Talk 101 with the boys. You know what I'm saying? And then I drive the 2 hours back all the way up here to Woodland Hills, Tarzana, and I see people pulled over here at my exit all the time. How am I supposed to engage with law enforcement when I'm 1,000% high? And
well, are you?
And I literally smell like weed.
Are you? Wait, let me just ask one question. Are you impaired?
Because you shouldn't be driving if
you're
you are.
Good answer. Because if you're impaired, we don't care what you're on, weed, whatever, you should not be driving. And when I say most people who smoke cannabis will not drive if they're actually impaired.
Yeah,
that's my belief. As opposed to drinking, you're more likely to, I can fucking drive. You know, I'm drunk, I can drive. Give me the keys. If you're
I'm honestly more likely not to drive because I'm super tired.
Correct. No, I mean, I think most people are, but so you're not impaired. So the engagement is, why'd you pull me over? I mean, we're going to be stuck to the script, and we can go through it all at once, but you're gonna.
So I'm gonna say, hello, officer.
No. Well, hold on, because you got to
walk me through.
You got to take this in order, right? You see the lights, you pull over, right?
Yes.
You pull over, you turn your car off, you crack your window enough to pass your license, insurance, registration, and we recommend you keep your license, insurance, and registration clipped right to your visor.
Okay, because so that's the key thing is just readily access.
Yes.
So you're not reaching over here.
So when you get in your car, you like take your registration from your glove compartment and your insurance from your wallet, and so you don't have to do all that stuff. Yep. And it's right there. You pull over, your hands are on the steering wheel, and that way when the cop comes up and you have nothing in plain view, if you just came from Cannabis Talk 101, you got a bunch of goodies, you throw them in the trunk or in the lockbox, and nothing's in plain view, so you don't give them any reason to go searching your car. And you're making them feel safe by having your hands right on the steering wheel. They want your license, insurance, registration. You're just going like that and going like that. Yeah. That's the physicality of
minimizing these moments that create uncertainty.
Correct.
And also increase the probability of searches.
Correct. Okay. And make the cop feel safe, because they got a hard job. They go up to traffic stops and cops have been shot. I mean, it's happened, you know, so they don't know what they're seeing there. If you have tinted windows, roll them down so the cop can see in the car, you know, and that's, you want to set them at ease first, because a lot of them, they're already on edge and they've got their hand on their gun and they're, you know, and the more you do those things to make them feel safe, the easier it's going to go. So that's
that's something that's really interesting, right? And I want to touch on that because LA has a lot of culture. There's a lot of different types of people here, right?
Yep.
So, you know, let's just paint a picture real quick. You're in LA. You're driving through LA from Orange County. Not the same cultures in Orange County versus LA, right? San Diego back home. There's all these different issues and activities and cultures in every area, in every city. It is, and I'm not standing on the side of police, but you have to think that at some point we have all these people. There has to be something out there to help people. There has to be someone to call. There's got to be something in place. And so you think like the officer that lives or that works in a dangerous area, they're probably a little bit more on edge on a daily basis. How are they supposed to know that you're driving from Orange County home and you're from Seattle? How are they supposed to know that the rental car Mustang?
That's why when we get to the cooperation stage, all that'll be answered.
Okay, so they're walking up to the car and they're already stereotyping every single situation. Their brain, their psychology is reacting. All the science inside of them is going on. They're having some form of experience that causes them to think like, all right, am I walking up to this Honda Civic? It's white, it's pink, there's a blonde girl inside. I'm probably safe. So I'm going to go out, here's another regular day. But if it's a old school Chevy Buick on rims, then stereo and the windows are tinted and rolled up, right? And music's bumping when they pulled you over. Well, psychologically, they're probably in a different state than when they're walking up to a small woman in a tiny Honda or Toyota, right?
Yep.
And so walk me through the next step where now you're actually, windows are rolled down. They're asking you for your documents. You got them right here. So now you're following these tips. What happens next, guys?
So you hand them your license, insurance, and registration, and then whatever the cop says, right? You're gonna find out what kind of cop this is. Where are you going? Where are you coming from? What's that smell? Have you been drinking today? Do you have guns in the car? It's 1,000 different questions that could come at you. But now here in California, starting this year in January, they have to tell you why you got pulled over. Not, do you know why I pulled you over? And they have to tell you why they pulled you over. There's some carved out exceptions, but they're supposed to tell you. Now, that aside, the first thing you want to actually say, no matter what, is, why did you pull me over? Even if they tell you.
It breaks down. Hello, officer. Why'd you pull me over today? How's it going? Why'd you pull me over?
You were speeding. You were speeding. Or if he comes up and says, hey, you were speeding. Why'd you pull me over? Make him say it again. I've read many police reports where they were pulled over speeding. Then suddenly there was a blinker that was out and it changes their story, So they can say it again. Why'd you pull me over? Plus, that gets what we call the clock ticking. They have under case law, 8 to 9 minutes to write you a traffic ticket and send you on your way.
Oh, wow.
They need other independent.
Hold on. Can we get that in a one sentence phrase? What did you just say?
The police officers have 8 to 9 minutes to write you a traffic ticket and get you on your way or give you a warning unless they find other independent probable cause to further detain you.
So if you get them to say the reason why they're pulling you over.
Well, they no, not necessarily, because they might not answer.
They might not tell you.
So it doesn't matter what they say after that. Is you started the clock. Why'd you pull me over? And they can say whatever they want, never tell you why. It doesn't change how long they have to give you that ticket.
Okay. Wow, that's wild. So why'd you pull me over? Windows are down, stuff's there. You give them the docs. They go check it. They come back. When they walk back, walk me through what we're doing, because everyone's tripping. Everyone is scared shitless.
Yes.
Once they come up, get your stuff, and they leave. Everyone's heart is pounding. They're on their phone. They're texting their friends. Everybody sends the photo of the rear view mirror with the lights. We've all been there. What do we do, guys? What are we supposed to do next? How do we keep this situation going in a way where we're not going to get shot, where we're not going to hopefully go to jail or prison?
You keep doing what you've been doing. Keep your hands on the steering wheel. Wait for him to come back. He comes back. It's either going to be good or bad. He's either going to give you the ticket or he might ask you to get out of the car.
Okay. Now let's go through both. Let's go those ways. So the ticket route, they give you the ticket. You sign something, right?
Sign it. Thank you very much.
Sign
it. It's not an admission of guilt. Don't fight over signing it.
I just want to be funny on this question. Do you leave before the cop or do you wait for them to drive away?
No, they'll usually tell you, be careful pulling out, and you'll go first. Now, another thing to remember is when you're getting a ticket, the best way to be able to fight it later, no matter what the traffic infraction is for, is to be that faceless person. Somebody who the cop's not making notes because you were a smart ass or I didn't do that. It was yellow or whatever.
Yeah.
And this goes in line with sticking.
Be significantly less than memorable, and he probably doesn't show up, right?
That's the goal ultimately. Yeah. But they mark I'm showing up for this guy.
They do. They make notes.
Absolutely. Yeah. You want to stick to the 25 words that we'll go over. But if that's the case, he comes back. here's your warning, here's your ticket. That's the best scenario that we could hope for. Now he comes back and, hey, where are you headed? Where are you going? Why is it smell in your car? Especially people who work in the cannabis industry, who are on a farm all day and they fucking stink. That happens a lot. I smell it.
It's crazy though, because it's like, the rule with DUIs is you can't, it's the smelling and the smoke and the consuming while driving and like the classic, and that's a whole totally burnt things are a way totally different molecular smell, or a way different smell down to the molecular level than weed that has not been burned. And so
tell that to a judge.
I know, right? Isn't that crazy?
Or a cop on the side of the road. They don't know that, but you don't get into that, right?
Yeah.
But if that's what's happening and they're questioning you about that, what do you say, big bro?
I know what you say.
Asking questions.
Tell us, little brother.
Come on, sorry, officer, I'm not discussing my day.
That's it. Politely, I'm not discussing my day. And that's also going to flush out the type of cop you have. So you're going to immediately know. It's going to be the guy who, hey, this guy knows his rights. There's nothing going on. And let me get the next 10 guys who are going to talk and say a whole bunch of shit. Or the cop who's upset that you know your rights and you're giving me a hard time. Oh, you think you know your rights? You can't just tell me I'm trying to keep you safe, trying to make sure nothing's going on. Why can't you answer a simple little question?
Yeah.
No, it's none of your business. I mean, you don't say that, but I mean, that's the fact of the matter is.
I mean, respectfully, officer, I don't need to discuss
that was the nicest way to come up.
Yeah.
I'm not discussing my day was the nicest and most respectful way to come up with this. None of your business.
Yeah.
Because it isn't. I mean, I just saw a live PD where I was actually, the cop was spot on. He pulled some guy over who was in a drug area. There was some white guy in a truck. I mean, he didn't look like a crackhead, but he came from a crackhead area, and he pulled him over. He was all nervous. The cop knew something was up, man, but he didn't have enough. So I think they were in fucking South Carolina or something. They shoot a lot over there. So, nothing's legal in South Carolina. So he ultimately called a canine unit and sniffed, and there was some crack but the point is, he waited until he had the right cause. He knew that his hunch, his suspicion, a lot of them they're suspicious, and they're right. Some of them are right, but he didn't just do it on suspicion. He waited for what he really needed.
Yeah.
He just did it on suspicion because no one else knows.
Yeah.
People don't know that. The people of the hosts are like, yeah, he had a suspicion. Well, who cares? You can't just do it on suspicion. You can suspect everybody. That doesn't give you cause. But he waited, got the right cause, and then the guy was fucked.
So I think that's something that's super interesting here is that, so you get the ticket, and then that's the one route. Ticket, hi, have a great day, be safe. And then there's this other route where he comes back and asks you to get out of the car. And you guys, historically, you tell people to follow the instructions. And I think this takes cojones. It takes, there's a song that I listen to from Nipsey. It's called I Don't Stress. In those moments where everything is going south, you can't crack. And you guys have said this in the past. The reason why you can't crack in these moments is because there's still a process they have to follow. And so many variables, forks in the roads, where the officers can still go and fuck that all up. They can mess it all up, right? And so they're still, even though they're asking you to get out of the car, you want us to comply and listen and follow what they're saying, correct? Can you walk me through that?
I love to pat myself in the back with the big cojones, but I did it. I had to do it, and it was not fucking easy. It was over 10 years ago, I think. Over 10 years ago. I came out of a bar. I had a couple drinks over a couple hours. Actually, it was a restaurant, and I fucking get lit up as soon as I get out of the parking lot. I'm like, what the fuck? Oh shit, I'm fucked. I'm 50 something years old. I've never been pulled over. I'm going to go to jail. I'm like, I might blow over 08. I don't know. I didn't feel drunk. Like, why'd you pull? And this is right when we learned a couple things. Not discussing my day stuff. Learned you don't have to do a field sobriety test in the state of California. It's voluntary. Learn that. I wasn't 100% sure about that, but I just learned it. Like, is that really the case? Because no one knows that. Everybody thinks you have to do it. And so the guy, I asked, why'd you pull me over? Your lights were off. And I'm like, oh, fucking valet. I got a brand new truck, had auto lights. They turned off my auto lights. And I click them back on. Well, how much did you have to drink tonight? They just straight up asked me. And I'm like, fuck. I'm not discussing my evening. You can't tell me if you had 1 or 2 drinks. I'm not discussing my evening. It's like, he goes, it smells like alcohol. I wanted to say bullshit. I had vodka, soda water, and a couple waters. I doubt it smelled like fucking alcohol.
Can't dry snitch on yourself though, Craig.
Oh no. So I just kept with, and then I finally said, and this was the hardest thing I ever had to do. This is the hardest thing I ever had to do. This is harder. This is the
hard one. I know what you're gonna say.
In between them standing before they go back to the car and run your shit, they're talking to you and trying to get you to talk and get you to say more so they can keep you longer. The more they engage with you, it's your fault. You're talking. They can stay more than 8 minutes, 9, 10 minutes. They get you to talk. They develop something else, right? And I finally said,
more suspicions.
I finally said, am I being detained or am I free to go? We had just come up with that. Fuck. You're detained. Get out of the car. Fuck.
Yeah, because at that point, you asking the question forces the decision.
Yep. Let me go. If not, am I being detained? So he says, you're being detained. Get out of the car. So I get out of the car, roll up the window, lock the doors, put my keys in my pocket, go stand on the curb. Puts the light up to my eyes, and I said, sir, I'm not going to do any field sobriety tests. You can't help me. You can't help me do anything. He's yelling at me.
Oh, wow.
We're just trying to be safe. And I go, sir, I'm not going to do those. His partner comes up. He yells at me. Remember, they pulled me over for no lights, not driving impaired. I wasn't all over the road. If I was, I should have gone to jail. If I was, I should have gone to jail.
Absolutely.
100%. And so he finally says, the partner says, because I won't bust. I'm not breaking. I'm not breaking. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to do tests. Take me in if you're going to take me in based on what you got, is what you're kind of saying at that point. And he finally says, here's your ID. Go back to Anaheim. I was in Costa Mesa at the time. He goes, go back to Anaheim. Blah, blah, blah. I never even got a ticket for the lights. And that was that. And that was that. But it was the hardest thing saying, am I being detained or am I free to go?
Oh my God. And then your heart drops after because they told you to get out. So you're literally like, all right, I'm
And
fucked.
people have to remember, I see this on live PD all the time, where they say you're only being detained. And a lot of times that's true. They take you out of the car. You're only being detained, something for their safety or whatever. They're in these bumfuck states where they can search on any reason, any smell, anything. And they want to make sure. And they let them go, right? But as soon as you're detained, they don't have to necessarily give you that Miranda warning. The Miranda warning is a whole nother issue. My brother can talk about a little bit when they have to say it. Yeah. You're invoking your Miranda rights because you live and breathe with them. You don't need them to tell you. That law is just when the law says, okay, at this point, you got to tell them. You can invoke it before then.
Wow.
So
there's a lot that can happen when engaging with law enforcement, man. This is an example of what it's like with you, but obviously a lot of other things, they're yelling and another grown professional individual comes up and yells at you. Absolutely incredible. And respectfully, you don't seem like the most volatile or like rude individual. And I've been around us when we're all drinking and having a great time. I ain't never been like that. And so it's just absolutely wild to think that that's how the escalation goes. We saw this most recently, right? We were talking a little bit offline as well with the Miami Dolphins and Tyree. Yep. These officers just it's a culture of policing. It's not necessarily, it's a culture of policing.
I think when he rolled his window back down, that cop had a hair trigger. He was not 100% wrong when he rolled up blacked out tinted windows. No, these guys are going for a gun. Highly unlikely, right?
But Florida is a special gun state. They're one of those states.
A lot of those states you can have guns. Dude, I watched this, as I said, I hate giving them, but it's a good example. I watched this, live PD, and they pull over people in South Carolina, Florida. You have guns in the car? Yeah. They pull out in the trunk a gun with a magazine round. It's around like a Tommy gun. I mean, or a clip that's like 20 mag clip. And yeah, you're good. Felony? Okay. Be on your way. Thanks for telling us.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's just crazy in those other states.
So as regular people, I'm not an advocate in most things I just try to live and exist and get in. And I, obviously as a leader, and our role in the space is to amplify knowledge and help people be resources. And that's what this conversation today is, you guys. That's what the conversation today is all about for those of you guys watching, right? This is just context, examples, perspectives. We are who we are. Our relationships are how they are. Our life goes how it goes. But in those situations, you want to mitigate the risk, and we all look and act different. And these cops have their own set of lives too, their own experiences. And it would really be helpful for those people that are out there to just be mindful of that, to help their life go smoother, to help your life go smoother, because nobody wants to have a person shot on the side of the road. Nobody wants to have to do these things, but their job does dictate some form of being able to make an ultimating decision like that. And so it's a reality that in those encounters, the spectrum of things increases for possibilities, for possible outcomes to happen. Marc, I want to chat with you and kind of pivot over to you and kind of some of your thoughts specifically on things you should and should not do with law enforcement. We've all read the transcripts about that Tyreek situation. We've all been probably mouthy when we're pulled over. I was a teenager. I can remember an explicit time where I rolled through a stop sign, the one stop sign by my house in high school, taking my girlfriend home for her midnight curfew. You know what I'm saying? Got out, had a great night. Shout out that wonderful girl. Took her home at midnight, rolled through the stop sign because it's the one at my house. Bam, whoop-de-whoop. Not even in the car 30 seconds. Officer, what's going on? No, I didn't do nothing. I'm just taking my girl home, and just had this general tone, right? And that officer said, you need to lose the attitude, take her home, and get back. And that was, and like, he sunned me, daddy. You know what I'm saying? I could only imagine what that might have been like had I been black or brown in Kent, Washington, and or been one of the tons of kids that smoked weed in high school that I was friends with. And I didn't smoke weed at that time, so it wasn't even a possibility. So I can only imagine how south that could go. So Marc, can you speak on specific things that people should do first when they are engaging with police? And let's start off, let's just keep it on the vehicle thing for now. What should people do when you get pulled over and you see those lights? Let's touch on this step by step.
Well, immediately pull over where it's safe, and be cognizant of the cop who's going to get on his speaker. Hey, keep going until the off ramp, or go over here, because they'll do that too. Because maybe you're at an area where it's not safe to stop.
Correct.
So, but you want to start just moving over to the right. When we see lights, we're supposed to move to the right. Maybe they're going to go past you, whatever. But you also want to be aware and listen.
That happens. That's fun.
Right when they go past you.
No, that's so scary when that happens. So happens. My least favorite thing about living in Los Angeles is when they flip the lights on and then they pass you and then they slow everybody down and do this bullshit.
Oh yeah, the freeway brake.
Oh my God, what the hell? I get so scared for them just to slow me down. So, safety, right? Okay, so you get pulled over, or you see the lights, you pull over to the right. That's what you're supposed to do by law. You have a driver's license, follow the rule of the law. Okay, cool. They come up to your car. You're supposed to be polite, be respectful, have all your stuff tucked. That's what you should do.
Ready.
They start talking with you. You answer the question in a very specific set of words. You don't answer the question they're asking. You respond with an answer that you're prepared with. And that is, for example, officer, why'd you
pull me over?
Why'd you pull me over, officer?
That's it.
Every time. That's the first thing, right?
Yep. And then no matter what they say after that, I'm not discussing my day. That's
all right, officer. Hey, I hear you, sir. I appreciate it. I respect you. But honestly, I'm just not about to we're not discussing my day today.
That's it. And then from there, like I said, you're going to get the cop who's going to maybe keep asking you questions.
Or yell.
or yell,
or just take your stuff and go run your
or
stuff.
manipulate. Man, why can't you just help me out, man? I'm just trying
Correct.
to keep everybody safe. I'm just trying to help screw you over. Help me screw you over.
That's right.
It's how I used to put it was they're trying to get you to help them fuck yourself.
Sounds hot. Sounds hot.
No need for that at all. And so, we've had people report back that the cop asked questions. I'm not discussing my day. I'm not discussing my day. Till you blew in the face. I'm not discussing my day. How long are we going to do this?
8 to 9 minutes.
And then, but then at some point, am I being detained or am I free to go? Give them that choice, because that's where it's either going to get the ticket or the warning gone, or, you're detained, get out of the car.
Now, they bring you out of the car. We didn't touch on this when we were talking with Big Bro. They bring you out of the car. You're detained. In your situation, they let you go, Big Bro. They said, all right, we pulled him over for this. We pulled him out. He's not given. We can't take him. We don't know. So we're not sure. So we're going to let him go.
Correct.
Mark, what happens if they ask you, I want to search your car?
Well, you say, no, I don't consent to a search.
And walk me through a little bit of that. And how do we get to how can a human who's just saying those words trust that that's what they're supposed to do? What about your law experience encourages that direction?
We have a Fourth Amendment right from unreasonable search and seizure into our privacy, and they can't go now. They can if they have probable cause.
Exceptions.
Do they have to communicate that?
No, they don't have to. They don't have to. If they see what looks like a gun, if they see a joint in plain view, or if they see
what about lighters? What about joint papers?
That's not enough. And the thing
depends
is,
what state you're in.
That's
paraphernalia, right?
That's true. Correct.
Depends what state you're in still.
Okay, well, let's Cali.
Yeah, not good enough.
That alone is not.
And the smell alone in California.
Correct.
And a lot of other states, but people need to Google their own states.
So a cop pulls you over. I'm gonna play devil's advocate again because, knock on wood, God forbid, fuck, man, sketchy shit sometimes. So sad that I am sad of this happening versus you know what I mean? Point being, you get pulled over. They ask you out of the car. Hey, we are going to detain you for a second. Hey, sorry, man. It's for our own personal safety, right? It's Los Angeles, right? Whatever. Get out of the car. They don't. I asked the cop, why are you pulling me over? Okay, blah, 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 blah. It has nothing to do. They detain me for whatever reason, and then they can say they're just going to start searching my car, and
if they want. They might ask you, can we search your car?
And I can say no, and then they can still do it.
They can still do whatever they want out there.
Wow.
Whether they had the cause or not will be determined later by us.
By a court, right? Where we can argue. Well, that's the whole thing, too, about never consenting. Once you consent, done. We can't fight that it was an illegal search. If they find something, you
can't find holes in the wall.
Done.
Nope.
Done.
Nope.
Cut us off at the knees.
Don't pay them money. They can't help you.
Never.
You're cooked.
Never consent. That way, when they go in and do their search based on whatever reason they think they're able to, now we have the power and opportunity to fight that search as an illegal search and bring our motion. Hey, they found a gun. They found 5 guns.
He wasn't pulled over for the gun.
Correct.
But he wasn't pulled over for this. It wasn't this. This moment earlier in the conversation, earlier in the engagement warrants this not being able to happen potentially.
That is correct. And that gives us the argument to say, hey, this was an illegal search. Anything you found is thrown out and you're done. But if you consent, cannot do that.
Now, I don't want to touch on this story too much, but you guys have a very historical example of this with your own family.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Couple of them.
Someone who's been in the news a lot lately and is on not a new trajectory, but a Cat 4 trajectory, a whole new level of quality.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Whole new level of quality, not even required by the state. Not even required by the state.
That's right. Voluntary.
Let's go. Now, the next part of this, you guys, I'm loving this. I'm honestly learning a lot. This is fun. I love hanging out with you guys. The next part of this, is what should you not do? So you get pulled over, lights, don't just keep driving, right?
Don't
Correct.
keep driving. Don't speed up. Don't keep driving. Don't ignore it.
And even if you can't find somewhere to park right away, put your blinker on like you're gonna pull
Put
over.
your hazards on and slow down.
Or
Make
even
an
your
effort.
hazard.
Just make an effort.
Yes.
Yeah.
But don't not make an effort. That's the do not. So they do pull you over. They're not doing the fucking freeway bullshit here in LA. They're
Correct.
pulling your ass over. You get pulled over. What not to do is keep all your shit in the middle console like it looks like, right?
Nothing in plain view.
Nothing
in plain view.
Don't have things that look like guns, paraphernalia, and don't have joints or weed packaging or
Anything.
things like that in the car.
Nothing.
Or alcohol cans. Don't have alcohol.
I mean, if
Correct.
you literally,
Open container,
yeah, no open containers.
which includes a joint that comes in a tube that you just bought at a licensed dispensary, but
Yeah.
it's open. That's an open container. That's a just like having an
Now,
open container of alcohol.
I'll ask another question about that later if I remember. We'll get back to that. I got some questions about open containers that I don't understand, especially with cannabis package. You got jars, you got seals, you got plastic wrap around it. There's these fucking nuances that are up to the discretion of the cop. I just don't get it. But either way, never consent to the search, right? So
Right.
it's all good. Now, what are some other things that you should not do when they pull you over? So attitude. Don't have a poor attitude. Be respectful. Turn it on. Your life is in their hands.
Correct. Correct.
There are very few moments where you don't have control over your life in America. Very few moments. People would say mental health. You're not in control. People are going to say when you're in prison. People are going to say when there's certain rules and laws that exist and systems in place. I would agree with bits and pieces of all that, but we cannot forget that when you are engaged with police, they are in control.
Right. You are not in control. We give them the guns and the badges to police, and you gotta just be nice. You're in that situation.
Do not be disrespectful. Do not attack them. Do not talk at them. Don't do anything loud with the tone. All of the things.
And just use the 25 words that we're reiterating here. There's no reason to say anything more or less. Really, it's just that's it. And a lot of people say, well, that's disrespectful when you say, well, I'm not discussing my day. No, it's not. It's if you say, I'm not talking to you, I'm not discussing my day with you. Well, that tone,
Or it's none of your effing business. Now that to me is it's rude.
But
when I talk to people I don't know, it's hello, sir. Hello, ma'am. Oh, yeah, here, please go ahead. Thank you. Yeah, no problem. Absolutely. Of course, whatever you need. I'm patient. My whole life is at a certain tempo and based on respect, right?
Yep.
And so all of a sudden someone's just doing their job. You wouldn't talk to the grocery store person like that. You wouldn't talk to the security guy like that.
We think a lot of these interactions that go really sideways, and we sometimes get backlash because that we get asked, what's a lawful order? Like, you know what? That's not for us or you to decide at the side of the road.
Yeah.
If you're going to beef with him on a lawful order, it's not going to turn out well. So that's not, just listen.
Yeah. And it's again, there's systems in place, right? We in America, we get a job, we go to school, we get a house, we rent, you pay taxes, you don't, stuff happens. There's cause and effect, right? For this particular system, there's only certain causes and certain effects. It's an engine and it goes how it goes. To break out of that engine equals, in my eyes, a little explosion possibly happening.
Yeah.
I mean, if you listen to what we say and actually employ it, it's going to be very hard for the bad cops to go off on you.
Mm.
Well,
it's going to be very hard to go off on you. Very hard. And they still might. We don't.
Even if they do, we as people are allowed to file complaints.
No, that's what I'm saying though. Like this isn't a panacea that everything's great, but it's going to lower. I ride a motorcycle. It's going to lower the risk level by being cooperative, being respectful, and cooperation again means listen to what they're asking you to do, not talking to them. That's not cooperation. When they say you're not cooperating, my hands here, that's cooperating. Getting out of the car.
We were talking about this offline. We literally added this to the topic, right, Craig? We literally were like, all right, what does resisting actually looks like? Because we see it on all the videos. Oh, he's resisting. Back up. Stand on his neck, kneel on his whatever. It's fucking disgusting. But the reality is that we have in a society in America, we have different definitions for things.
Until they overturn the Supreme Court longstanding rulings regarding what officers can do when they feel their safety's in jeopardy, you can't resist at all. Some of these guys, you can see where they're kind of tightening up their hands behind their back, or they're spreading them apart so they can't get the cuffs on them. And they're not really resisting, but they're resisting. I'm not resisting. They say I'm not resisting. I'm watching them going, yeah. I mean, you're not just letting them do it. I mean, it's, and then the cops take it overboard. Right?
It's the wobbly. It's like Mark was just doing a moment, kind of like when you're wiggling around on the ground and being this, and at some point you just kind of gotta
go limp.
It sounds horrible. You just gotta take it and go limp, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Or from the very beginning. You don't.
Resisting is its own charge, correct?
Yes.
Correct. And so much stuff can get worse. It's like people who run or high-speed chase. Come on.
It's not just resisting, it's resisting, delaying, obstructing.
And assaulting.
I was just we have a case. I was watching the video. We watch all sorts of dash cam and body cam, and the guy was in his car and the cop asked him 4 times to get out. But he didn't until 10 minutes later he finally got out, but now he's got an additional charge of delaying.
Wow.
Because he didn't get right out. He was arguing with me.
Yeah, once he's charged and it's been communicated, he's not getting out.
Correct. You're pulled over, you're in your car.
Once he says get out.
Get out.
Get out. That's the whole point about what's a lawful order. Do I have to get out if he says, whether he's right or wrong, get the fuck out.
Yeah, that's what you guys are communicating for us. That's the playbook. If they tell you to get out of the car, get out of the car, be respectful, follow the directions of what they're saying, do not consent to a search, let them all do whatever they're going to do and whatever they're going to go do, but do not give them the affirmation of the approval, your legal approval, your lawful approval to go do this stuff to screw you over. Now, correct. Even if you're guilty, don't do that stuff because
no one's guilty until proven.
You're not right. You're not guilty right there on the side of the road. You got to go to court, and that's the whole thing. Doing everything that we're talking about does 2 things. It's going to give you the best defense possible for your attorney to bring up, and it's going to put you in the best position to be able to bring a civil rights lawsuit.
Yep.
On that, in that same, just the whole same circumstance is going to lead to those 2 things. If you stick to the 25 words, do what they say, because if you're doing what we say and you're complying with those physical commands and they go off the rails, you lawsuit, easy lawsuit. When we read police reports, if all I'm reading and watching video and hearing audio is what the cop said and what the cop did, it's going to be great for your defense and for you to bring a civil action because you didn't say anything other than 25 words. You did everything the cop said. And now, now they're beating on you and doing all this stuff. That's a very easy, simple loss.
Yeah. Being aggressive, throwing you around, being too forceful, illegal searches, illegal seizures, there's a variety of things that, again, they have to get to the point where they can do that, they have to follow the steps, and these steps are in place, and they typically, in the moments, there's a lot of different things going on, and oftentimes, I've heard you guys say this in the past, oftentimes people just don't know, and they're afraid and anxious and scared, right? Yeah. And they ultimately put themselves in an even worse position than allowing law and order and justice to go through the court system. And the point of this is to go through the court system. So we're going to proceed to the next part. Point of this topic, specifically, everybody, how to engage with law enforcement, this specific section, resisting police and what that actually looks like. Don't pull your arms apart. Go be there. If they're going to hurt you, they're going to hurt you. It's not a comfortable feeling to be put in cuffs. Correct. To be put on the cement and be forced to lay there on hard cement. I do not encourage having somebody wiggle around and having your head pushed into the cement and held on against it. That is a way for you to be injured due to delaying, resisting, and things like that. So as
that's
we continue,
when that's going to escalate to that when you do that, when you delay, resist, and don't listen to those. Comply now, complain later. That's a good adage.
Comply now, complain later. I like that one. And then complain in court through the proper means. Pot Brothers at Law available, potbrothersatlaw.com.
Yes,
Now, shout out to you guys for the script and creating resources. Our next segment is all about the power of the script and the protecting yourself, and how you guys have created this by understanding the core legal and the systems that are in place at such a high level. You guys have lived through it. Your families dealt with it. Stuff has been taken, sacrificed. Things have changed since then, which is crazy too. Progress has been made in many different ways, but there's still a long way to go. And so since you guys have gone viral, and as well as before the virality, you guys have had this script, and it has been recited millions and millions of times now. You guys aren't in the millions, but the world is in the millions of saying these words. Can you go ahead and recite the script for me to start it off? And let's talk about the real value and impact of knowing these words and relying on them in the most stressful, scary moments when dealing with law enforcement.
All right. So I'm the cop, and I pull you over and I say, hey, what's that smell in your car? What's going on in your car?
Why'd you pull me over?
You didn't use your blinker back there, and you make a lane change. Why didn't you use your blinker? You in a rush? Where are you going?
I'm not discussing my day.
You think I care about your day? I'm out here working. You're giving me attitude.
Yep.
You can't tell me why didn't you use your blinker?
I'm not discussing my day.
I don't care about your day. This could go one of two ways. It can be very easy. Just answer my simple question, and it'll be easy. Just, where are you headed to?
Am I being detained, or am I free to go?
Well, you're being detained.
All right. So I get out of the car, roll up my window, put my keys in my pocket, lock the door, shut it, stand on the curb, and tell him.
So hold on. He's in your pocket. So you roll up your windows. What if he tells you to leave him down?
Then you leave him down.
Okay. So you leave.
All you're doing right there is you're making sure if you can do that, you're just making it that much harder, where if you don't give consent for them to get in the car.
Okay. So keep him down or roll it up depending on the situation.
Right. And then as you're getting out of the car, you say, "Sir, I invoke the fifth."
Sir.
And then
invoke the fifth.
Where you going? Where you come from? You had any drinks? No matter what the question is, you shut the fuck up. Now, there's one extra thing. Cop keeps just browbeating you. I know, I smell it. I know you're drinking. I know, and he's asking question after question after question.
What'd you have to drink tonight?
Well, someone actually, the reason that this came up, we have to add it to the 25 words almost, is because someone asked, after you get done with the script, you've invoked the fifth, you're shutting the F up. What if you talk then? What if they keep asking you questions and you talk then? Well, you just undid the whole thing that you just did. You undid the whole, I invoke the fifth. You undid it. So in order to get them to, prevent them from continuing to ask questions, you say, I'm not answering questions until I have an attorney.
I want my lawyer.
An attorney. Boom. They got to stop.
I want my lawyer.
34 words. It's doable. We're doable.
It's too late. We already have it trademarked. We can't.
So it's just it's an addition to.
I'm not answering questions until I get to meet with my attorney and try to talk to my attorney.
No, you don't even have to say that. You could just say, I want my lawyer.
Right. And once you say, I want my lawyer, if they keep going and then break you, then we have argument that they broke you and that was illegal what they did. So anything you say at that point, we could potentially get thrown out.
And that's
but to summarize the 25 words, should they continue to keep bugging you? All right, officers, I'm not answering any questions. I need to speak with my lawyer.
Yep.
And never consent to searches.
No, I'm not consenting to any searches.
And always film. Always film.
And always film. What are some of those situations that are around the filming. I noticed that wasn't left out of the what not to do, and now you're encouraging us to always film. I know that antagonizes police sometimes.
Well,
So
so you know
here's the
what?
thing.
I don't think as much anymore. I really don't. It's very common, but they will try anything they can to say you're impeding an investigation. So you want to make sure if you're not involved in the scenario, you want to make sure you're not impeding the officers
25 feet away, 50 feet away.
Yeah, I don't know about 50, but a good 10, 15, 25
We
feet.
we got good zooms these days.
Depending on the scenario. So
you guys will be proud. I was cuffed in Vegas on the Strip, and they walked up and cuffed my left hand from behind. They walked up and cuffed my left hand from behind, grabbed my hand, cuffed my second hand in one swell motion, and pushed me to the side up against the wall.
What were you doing?
I had just finished smoking a joint, maybe 30 seconds before, walking, not driving, walking. And I had just put it out. You know, when I'm from Seattle, so I don't always litter my joints everywhere when I'm walking around. So I put it out and had it still in my hand. It was smoking and still lit slightly. And I'm looking to throw it away. And I walk and don't think anything of it. And literally, and I walked past, these cops were hanging out in their car, lights are on. It's the Strip. They're just sitting there chilling. And then they literally walk me down and cuff me. And this is a crazy story, man. They cuffed my hand first thing right away, pushed me to the wall, cuffed my second hand, started asking me. I dropped the joint at that point, and I stood on it. So there's nothing in my hand. I'm standing on it at this point. And I didn't move. And they're like, yo, what are you doing? I'm like, it's my birthday night. I'm just smoked a joint before I walked around, and it's gone, and I'm walking down the Strip and then walking back into my hotel. I did not shut the fuck up. And because at this point, in my eyes, I haven't done anything wrong. So I just am like, this is what I just did. I'm in a legal state. Right. You know what I mean?
That's no reason to not shut the fuck up.
I hear you, but this isn't the part where you guys are going to be proud of me. So I definitely didn't shut the fuck up and follow those things. But as they called for backup, and as they started searching me and myself, I had a bag, I had weed. I used to wear this jewelry that looked like fake dabs. They came up to me and said it looked like meth. And I had to tell him, yo, I need you to look me. I had to look at these. Yo, that is not meth. That is absolutely THCA. I had a fake one on, and then I had another one where it had real diamonds, real THCA diamonds in it. When they opened it up, they called for backup because the THCA diamond was a big crystal chunk. And I literally am, and my heart drops because at this point they're looking through my stuff, and I let them, and now they found something on my neck, right? They found it in my jewelry, and it's technically legal because it's THCA,
right?
And so in my head, I'm like, yo, oh my god, they think it's meth. They call for backup. People come over. It becomes a big situation. Another car shows up. It's like, oh, fully fuck. I immediately go, yo, you guys need to look me up online. I'm traveling. This is cannabis. I only do weed. This is THCA. Look it the fuck up. Classically, one of the cops was not interested in hearing that. They were not interested in any part of that. One of the other cops was familiar and looked it up and said, yeah, you're right. This isn't meth. This is this. Like, look at, like, and in that moment, this is all happening.
And it wasn't illegal to have it on you.
Negative. And so what's illegal was the mushroom in my gummy tin. So we'll get to that point. Now, Colin at the time, the old roommate, the old editor, goes over in his filming form. I'm like, as it's happening, he immediately goes over and starts filming, and that's out of respect to you guys, and always film the police. And I knew that you guys would like that part of the story because I fucked it all up and didn't listen, panicked, and did all the shit because I did not think I was breaking any rules. It's Las Vegas. There's no sign.
You can't walk down the street doing it, but
for sure.
Nobody knows that because everybody does.
Yeah, nobody knows that.
Where were you on the Strip?
So I literally said, like, yo, man, I work in the industry. And they said, if you work in the industry, how do you not know this? And I was like, I'm not from this state. The rules are different everywhere. And he goes, well, you still can't smoke outside. And I was like,
You can't smoke outside anywhere.
You can't smoke and you can't smoke inside at the casino.
I was like, of course, I apologize, officer, but you're not pulling me over. I was like, you're not stopping me for the smoking. You're tripping over this other stuff on me now. So, and I was like, there's no weed. There's nothing smoking right now. And so I was like, oh, I'm just stuck at this point. And then they start going through my bag, which I didn't consent to that search in my bag. And in a Camino jar, I had a mushroom cap, the stem and the cap. And this is the real reality. This is no joke. And it's on camera too. He opens it up. It's a tin. He twists it open. And I know it's in there. And I start talking to him right as he opens it. And he never looks down. In the
So there's awesome. That's very lucky.
My life. Shout out to God. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to filming. Shout out to I literally misdirected him, and you literally saw him go in the bag and pull it out. And I start talking to him. I'm like talking to him back and forth, and he just opens it and puts it back on and never looks, bro. And they let me go about 5 minutes after that. And I'll just never forget that particular day, I was treated like I was a meth dealer. Yep. I was treated for the smell of weed. I was treated like I was a meth dealer. It was my 30th or 31st birthday or something a couple years ago. Or 29th, something like that. I don't remember. And
crazy.
I just can only imagine how it would have gone had I been not what I look like and with an ounce more of attitude instead of fear. Instead of fear and honesty and me feeling like I had nothing illegal on me except for that one shroom cap or whatever. Like, I thought to myself, man, I'm good. And then he started looking through my stuff again. And then and it was just like, oh my God, I'm ruined. I'm going to be done. And that was so scary. And so I just want to say from the bottom of my heart to you guys, I very much appreciate you guys and what you do, what you've dedicated your lives to, helping people, educating. We have a comment here from LinkedIn. I'm going to share good info. You guys are doing the Lord's work. You guys are quite literally helping people. Even though there's only 2 viewers, and shout out to the 2 viewers that have here and the 6 and 10 that we've had over 50 that we've had over the course of the episode, every single person this can really help. And it's not just about cannabis. When you get pulled over, follow the script and protect yourself and keep these law enforcement honest and keep the community safe by not having another dead person because of attitude or another potential dead situation. Or a life-altering situation, keeping dads and moms and partners with their family. This is just an important thing. And so I thank you guys for spending an hour of your day, an hour of your life with me.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure, brother.
I love getting to spend time with you in person. You guys, your energy radiates and just is viral and from a human to human element. They always talk about B2B and followers, but in person, you guys love and appreciate and help. And you fucking smoke fire, man. You all smoke good weed. Mark's always taking dabs, and fucking Craig, you're always smoking fucking OGs and shit, man. You got the hardcore OG hat, the old throwback West Coast cure hat.
I do. Old school.
I got a lot of respect for you guys. And so for anybody that you're all watching, if you fucking hate these guys, fuck you and shut the fuck up when you get pulled over. Because I guarantee you one day it's going to help you. If you guys do enjoy these guys, please be sure to follow them. Please be sure to subscribe, visit their website, and tell people about them so you can spread the good word and hopefully protect someone else, man. I appreciate it not. To everybody also that was watching this episode is brought to you guys by Seedless Media, our sponsor. Big shout out to Steve, Justine, Dylan, the entire team over there. I appreciate you guys empowering us to empower wonderful people like this. Craig, Mark, do you guys have anything you'd like to leave the people with before we get
make sure everybody out there likes, follows, subscribes to Respect My Region.
Oh, that's love, man. I appreciate you. That's love.
Absolutely. And shut the fuck up when cops ask questions. And, we have brought back the script challenge, which we're doing now every Friday at noon Pacific, but we're doing it on a live Zoom.
Nice.
Where we can smoke and say fuck and don't have to worry about the social media rules. So you can get that information. It's on our website. And, please check it out.
If you want to smoke, say words like fuck and a bunch of cannabis things and hang out with some of the coolest OGs here in California cannabis, my guys, big bro Craig Wasserman, little bro Marc Wasserman, these are the famous Pot Brothers at Law. These motherfuckers changed my life, and it gives me chills to think about it and almost brings me to tears because nothing has been the same since that Christmas day when it happened.
That was
And
Christmas
so,
Day, 2018.
man, if I was with y'all right now, I'd give y'all a big hug just because it's always an honor and it's such a full circle experience, and it has had the most impact on my life, from giving my mom money, flying her for my birthday. I'm able to be with her for her birthday this year. My family, it is,
Awesome.
I'm just very blessed. And I also too, with all of that positivity, I want to say this: it is absolutely unacceptable for cannabis prisoners with no violent crimes to still be in prison and jail for cannabis. Free prisoners with non-violent crimes. Their sacrifices are why I'm here and so happy. And it makes me, it's so crazy to feel extremely happy and on top of the world, and to be around people like Luke Scarmazzo and Corvain Cooper and Al Hollingsworth and all these different people, Randy Lanier, all these different humans that are out there, Edwin Rubis, that are still locked up and have been or will be in the future. I just want to say I appreciate your all sacrifices, and we're here and to share your stories and to help other people and to have progress. And we're here to spread your word. And so big respect to you guys. Thank you for being on this episode. For everybody watching, like, follow, subscribe to our shit. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to their shit. If you're going to talk some shit, I'm okay with it being about me, because either way, we're going to be here making moves and helping other people. I love you all. This was the 109th episode.